Yo, what up? Today I'm going to go over the three systems that closed 103 dates for me this year. Just to clarify, 103, that is not all first dates. In terms of first dates, it would probably be between roughly like 50 and 60-ish. First dates, pulls, one-night stands, etc. The 103 comes from girlfriends going on multiple dates with, the same girl, stuff like that. So let's look at a little bit of proof. Shout out to one of the game artists. He got laid last night. I just got this text, so I was excited to see it. But yeah, X amount of dates, went to a place with her, pulled, sex, and then sex again last night. So you like to see it. A little bit of proof of me closing some dates here. Let me know if you're not too tired. Do you want to go here? Cool. And then I say, excited to meet you. Oh, sorry, these are hard to see. Excited to meet you. Let me know if you're not too tired tonight. Do you have any idea for tonight? Same thing. Yeah. And then this is Thursday, right? So I'm just showing like timestamps on these, but I went on a bunch of dates last week. Oh, sorry, it's the same thing. And then, yeah, this is actually a different one. Want to go? 8 is good. No rain. See you there. I had a plan, but it wasn't a very good plan. So I would go out to malls. I would walk around forever. I had no plan to overcome approach anxiety, and I didn't know how. So I actually went out to do approaches and pretty much never would for years. Like I knew about game when I was 18, and I did my first approach when I was 24. All right, so that's a lot of years of having a bad plan, right? So your plan needs to be good. And that's going to help you get started. What this is also going to do is overcome approach anxiety, right? So there's simple tricks that I still use whenever I need to approach. I just do certain things because I find it's just hard. Even after I've done like over 1,000 cold approaches, it's still hard. I still get lazy. I still get scared sometimes. And like I just won't do it. Like oftentimes it's easier just to not sometimes. So I have a few systems in place that I do in order to make sure that I actually do my approaches, because I found that approaching oftentimes is better than not. It's better for like your mental state. You get results out of it. So we want tricks to get ourselves to do it, even though it's hard, even though it's scary. It's what's going to be able to separate you from a lot of guys who can't do it. They can't do it. They won't do it. They won't get the experience, and they just won't go for what they want. Right. So approach anxiety. If you don't understand frames, you are not really doing game. Your understanding of game is not deep. You are maybe saying like some pickup lines that you've heard. So frames. This is the frame, right? So here's like a pickup line. Maybe pickup line, like a pull line, maybe like some teasing or just some joke format or something. So these are all their own things, but they fall within frames. All of these falls within different frames. The main frames that I found are the most useful: buyer-seller dynamic, right? You're the buyer. Like buyer, not seller. So you're the buyer, right? Most guys assume that they have to go and like impress a girl. That's why games seem so scary to many people. It seems very hard to go up and impress a random girl. Do like backflips, be like a dancing monkey. So we don't really do that. We're just the buyers, right? Like we go up and we just see if the girl's cool. Well, it comes from two things. It comes from the assumption that you are cool, and then we go up and we find out more about the girl and just see if she's cool. So we make it easy. We don't do any like dancing, impressing stuff. We just assume value and then see if she's someone that we want to be with or someone that we could get along with. It makes game very simple. It makes game very easy, and it makes a game easy for introverts too, because it's like low energy. There's different styles of game. This is the one that I prefer because I'm low energy. I don't really like to go and impress people. I'm kind of just chill, and I found this works best. You just assume value, and then you go and like find out about the girl, and that's like the frame that almost everything in game comes from, and it's just kind of what all the lines, pull structure, any sort of lines in game, it just kind of falls under this frame. Um, yeah, cool. So that's frames. So you'll get that as well. This encompasses like all of communication, basically, like on polls, getting to sex, opening, texting. Just make sure your frames are right. I've noticed like the majority of people are making frame related mistakes. Those are the mistakes, right? They're frame related. If you are making a mistake, it's because your frame is wrong. Because if your frames are right, your communication is right. Okay, cool. So lastly, date ramp. So you need to go on dates to get laid, girlfriends, pulls, all that good stuff. Okay, so you do need to go on dates, right? So we structure the date. Most guys have no plan when it comes to a date. They don't have like a strategy. So I pretty much run the same date every single time. It's very simple, and it doesn't require a lot of money. It doesn't require a lot of time, and it doesn't require a lot of dates, which is the other thing. A lot of people will go on, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 dates for a pull to get to sex, right? I closed the majority of my first dates that I go on. So how do I do it? I just use the date ramp. We basically go to a venue that doesn't require a lot of money. It's a simple venue. It's not a fancy steak dinner or anything like that. Starts out chill, and then the emotions build up to the pull. The story, make sure your framing is right. The frames have to be good, and the frames are congruent with like the ramp. So there's also a story within the frames. Again, building up towards a natural pull, a natural close. The stories and the frames are something along the lines of being won over by the girl, and then it's within the same frame of like the buyer seller dynamic. So you are the buyer, so the date ramp is basically a structure to frame the date as a way where she's able to slowly win you over throughout the course of the date, and then a pull only makes sense afterwards, like after you guys like each other, after she has successfully won you over. You guys like each other, a pull makes sense. And that's how you do it on the first date. And this is what I use to close over 50% of my first dates in any city that I go to. New York, Miami, Paris, and now I'm in Vietnam. Vietnam's actually surprisingly conservative, more conservative than the States. Still close over half the dates. Thailand, different animal, but I'll make a video about that in the future. But yeah, so that's the day ramp. And then lastly, if you buy like in the first week, I'll throw in the dynamic game. So this is all about relationships. My handwriting is getting worse and worse as this thing goes on. Just ignore it. Yeah, cool. So dynamic game. So you want to be able to get to sex, right? But what a lot of people do is when they get to sex, they destroy the possibility of a relationship because they get there like a fuck boy, like a player, et cetera, or maybe they're only playing like a value based game, or maybe their entire strategy is wrong and where they're going for girls who are easy to get to sex with. Which I mean, some people like to play that game, some people don't. But what you want to be able to do is have the option to, yes, have relationships if you want. So sex, yes. Relationships, yes. And it's how you can go on actually 50 first or close 50 first dates, but close a lot more dates than that. Is you see girls again who you actually get along with, right? And that's the reason why we go on the first dates. We find the girls that we do get along with, that we want to see multiple times and build relationships with. And we do that by playing a dynamic game that works, yes, for sex, but also yes for relationships. And you do that through understanding value and comfort, and using both properly. Basically, you lead with value, and then you build comfort, connection, all that stuff to make her want to see you again, make the connection feel special, make her feel special, and also don't have so much value where it feels fake and it's just about sex. So those are the main ideas of the dynamic game. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's how I've closed 103 dates. Closed. Cool. Thanks for watching.